Hello, Margaret here from Botany Bay Imports. Today we'll be doing another session in GroomApedia talk. Today we have Jodi Anne Haslers joining us today. Hi Jodi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, yeah.
Thanks for making time to do this recording with us, podcast. We might just kick off straight into it. I was just wondering if you can tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you? For all those
Okay.
groomers that aren't aware.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jodi Anne Hasler and I started Pet Perfection 27 years ago when I was 19. And that was quite a big step for me back then. I was quite young, but started off the business. I'm also a qualified dog trainer and I'm qualified TAFE trainer and assessor as well.
Okay. I remember meeting you at one of the pyre shows a long time ago.
Yes.
What did you want to be when you were a kid?
When I was growing up, I wanted to be a zoologist.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I've sort of always wanted to work with animals,
Yeah.
but sort of more down the scientific behavioural and genetic strain to start with. And then, when I got a bit older, year 11, year 12, I sort of lost my way a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, how I diverted.
Okay. So why did you become a groomer? Obviously because of your love for animals.
Yes, when I sort of lost my way and was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I actually started, I trained as a nail technician and started my own nail manicuring business.
Okay.
And then I realised I was working with people and not animals and went to get a vet nursing job, and an actual vet that I spoke to turned around and suggested that I should look into running my own dog grooming business, and I looked into it and said that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, a lot of vet nurses become dog groomers for some reason.
Yeah, well, I didn't even get to be a vet nurse. I
Okay,
just went straight into the
straight
dog
in.
grooming.
That's good. Um, what made you start your business?
Well, I suppose it was because after school I had already started running my own nail grooming, nail technician business. And then I come from a family, my mum and dad ran their own ballroom dancing studio. So I suppose I was very comfortable running my own business and didn't actually want to have a job with, under someone else. I wanted the freedom to be able to do what I wanted and when I wanted to do it.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of people want to be. I think flexibility.
Yes. Yes.
How did you find networking with other groomers?
Well, when I first started, it was very hard. A lot of there was only probably half a column of dog groomers in the yellow pages, and most of them at the time didn't really want to interact.
Yeah.
And when I joined PIAA, there wasn't even a grooming section, so the people who had started networking there were just other retailers and wholesalers. So it wasn't until the grooming sector actually started up that I got to really socialise and network with other groomers.
Yeah. Whereas today there's so many groomers out there. If you go to Google someone in your area, there's probably 5 of them around your area, if not more.
It's been a massive change over the 27 years, definitely.
Yeah. So what made you attend seminars once they started?
Well, for me, it was because when back then there wasn't actually any true sort of qualified courses around. You had a few little hobby 6-week courses here and there, and I learnt from the 360 breed dog grooming book and my clients. So
Yeah.
as soon as there were seminars available, I jumped at the chance.
Yeah. And I remember you always bringing one of your workers with you, over the last few years as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I totally believe that it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business for, there's always something else you can learn from another groomer, and they don't necessarily have to have more experience than you either.
Yeah.
There's some things I've actually learnt from my students and my employees, so you can always learn something.
Yeah. That's good. What are some of your achievements over the years?
That's hard because it depends what you consider achievements. But I've won the Open Terrier competition in 2007 and came runner-up best in show. Yeah. So for competing wise, that's probably the best I've done there. I won a marketing award, and that was quite good. I've been on 3 TV shows, Totally Wild. Yeah. On Channel 7 was probably my favourite. That was a lot of fun to do. Yeah. And I suppose, probably my biggest one was the writing of the Companion Animal Services Certificate for pet grooming. I did that with Deb Ryan, and that was pretty massive. We did that over a long time through the 2 TAFEs we're working with, and that was probably my biggest achievement, to actually be part of getting that certification system up and running.
Good old Deb Ryan. Everyone misses her, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So are we going to see you again on a TV show anytime soon?
No, I don't think so.
What's your first experience in the grooming ring? What was it like?
Wow, it was the very first competition. So it was
20 years ago?
I think it was the year. Yeah, it was the year before I became director. It was the first competition that PIAA ran, and it was just an open to all. Basically, it was one class, standard poodles against mini schnauzers. Christine Pawlowski, I think, was the judge, and she literally came up to me because I had a little tiny mini schnauzer, and said to me at the beginning, "There is no way I can judge you against the standard poodle," but promised me a really good, in-depth critique for my time there. So that was the start of the grooming competitions in Australia. And I walked away with, I suppose, a lot of information from that.
Yeah. I think these judges are quite good because they give you detail on where you go right, where you go wrong, how you can improve and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and definitely just that first one, we were all in the same boat too. Like, no one had ever done this before, and again, that's something that has come a long way since then. Yes.
So, is there any breed that you cover in particular?
I don't cover. I've got a couple of favourites, the mini schnauzers and the Airedales, and I own a Bedlington. But I suppose as far as the business sense, and something that I really like doing is just the pet grooms, being able to provide a service that can actually mix and match any design, I suppose, that the client wants for their dog. So that's what I really try to do more than anything.
Yeah. What risks have you made as a groomer?
My biggest risk was employing. That was really tough decision when I first got pregnant to take the risk to then give your employees those clients of yours that were so close to your heart and trust someone else with them. That was the biggest risk. I suppose the other risk I did was when I was asked to be grooming director. I was still fairly young back then, and that was a really big change, and I had to leave my business to go to meetings and all of those sort of things. So they were sort of the bigger risks that I've taken throughout the years.
And they take up a lot of time, like helping in organising events and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. And look, my clients were great, because when I first became a director, I hadn't even had kids then, and so I didn't actually have any employees. And I had to close my business and go and do all that. And my clients were very understanding. I was very appreciative of that.
That's good. What are some of your success stories?
Well, I suppose teaching for me is a big passion, and most of my employees, I suppose, have either been raw beginners or those students I've taught at TAFE. Watching them develop and grow and become successful groomers are probably my success stories. And a few of my challenging dogs that I've managed to turn around from being quite aggressive and not enjoying a groom to being very happy to come in and let me groom them. They're probably my biggest success stories.
So are you still teaching now?
No, only my new employees when I get any. That's all I do now.
I thought maybe you were still doing something with the TAFE or something like
No,
that.
no. I think for me, the reason I went into having a business for myself was a really good work-life balance.
Yeah.
And at some stage along there, that got out of whack.
Yeah.
And I was definitely more business and work orientated. But once I had kids, I pulled back a lot of
And had
things.
to be a mum.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably one of the main reasons for having my own business, so that I could be a stay-at-home mum and have the independence of running a business. So, that's my biggest success story, is that I've managed to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Who is your worldwide mentor?
Oh, wow. Now, that's a hard question because there's been so many influences over the years. But I suppose my first one was definitely Terry DiMarino. She was amazing when I first met her. I was still a very young grooming director back then, and she gave me invaluable advice on not just grooming, but all sorts of things. And Judy Hudson's another one. I've really appreciated her words of wisdom over the years too.
Yeah, both good ladies from the USA.
Yes.
Any tips for beginner groomers who are starting out?
Yeah, well, it's so much different now to when I started out. There's a lot more competition about now. So I suppose definitely setting your goals, short-term and long-term. Doesn't matter what the goals are. If you set them and then work towards them, that's pretty much the only way to succeed. Just going in it and sort of just doing it doesn't always mean you succeed. So definitely the setting of the goals and working out, I suppose, a procedure to success. That's probably my biggest tip. And always networking. I think too, now that there's so many groomers out there, even in your local area, get to know your groomers and learn from each other. It's a very supportive way of learning and succeeding as a whole.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks for your time today, Jodi. And
That's okay.
Sorry, and I hope all your listeners enjoy hearing Jodi's story.
Okay. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Thanks, Jodi. Bye.
Okay. Bye.